Want to know how to create a custom Xbox One Elite controller setup for Ana in Overwatch? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to my channel, for all of you newcomers, and welcome back to those who are returning. This is the Carter117, aka Hodor, ya boy. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a custom Elite controller setup for Ana. She was released on console today, and unfortunately because I recorded this video originally 2 days ago, I had to re-record it. Fuck me, right? But after watching this, you'll definitely be ready to go. I've been watching plenty of gameplay, reviews, and guides for Ana, and I've only really played about 1 or 2 games with her because I wanted to get this video out to you guys as soon as possible. But I do have a good understanding of how her abilities work and their mechanics. In order to create a custom setup, we need to take a look at her abilities. Now let's dive in. The first ability we're going to take a look at is her biotic rifle. You either shoot it from the hip by squeezing the right trigger, or you can zoom in by either holding or toggling the left trigger. Her rifle is very similar to Widowmaker's rifle. When you shoot an ally, it gives them health, and when you shoot an enemy, it deals damage. The best part is that the dart or projectile deals damage or health over time, kind of like a weaker version of the Thorn in Destiny. Man, fuck that gun. The next ability is her ultimate Nano Boost. You can use the ultimate by pressing the Y button when an ally is highlighted, similar to when you give a shield to an ally using Symmetra. And let me tell you, this ultimate is fucking sweet! Basically, it gives one of your allies decreased damage, increased health, and it also gives them a speed boost. And it's definitely going to change the flow of the game, especially if you give it to a Reinhardt, a Genji, or a Reaper, for instance. Her third ability is the Sleep Dart, which is used by pushing the left bumper. The Sleep Dart makes it so that way when you hit an enemy with it, they fall asleep for a short period of time, until it either wears off in 5 to 6 seconds, or until the enemy starts receiving damage. I think this ability is best used for defense. It gives you just enough time to get away from an attacking enemy to a safer distance. But just be careful, because it has a 12-second cooldown. Last but not least is her Biotic Grenade ability. I think that this ability is by far the best in her arsenal. It is used by pushing the right bumper. When this grenade is used on an ally or on yourself, it gives you health. When you throw it on an enemy, it deals some damage as well as preventing the enemy from gaining health over a short period of time. This will be super clutch against an enemy being healed by Lucio or Mercy, and it can even block Roadhog from getting health from his Take a Breather ability. This ability also has a 10-second cooldown, so make sure you use it at the right time. Now, let's take a look at our in-game setup and sensitivities. In the Controls tab, under Options, select Ana from the drop-down menu. And let's go down the list a little bit. I set her horizontal sensitivity to 48 and her vertical sensitivity to 30. What? My sensitivities are higher than you've seen in my other videos? Well, I'll get to that later. Now, one of my YouTube subscribers, Cliff, left me a comment talking about turning off aim assist. After messing with it some, I agree. Turn it off. This is for 2 reasons. The first reason is that when you are panning to the left or the right to sight in on an enemy and the aim assist is on, the reticle will actually slow down some while you're about to reach the target. This could cause you to either overshoot or undershoot your target. The second reason is because it stops a different enemy from pulling your aggro while aiming, making you miss your intentional target. For the reticle, I left it pretty much to the default settings. Bloom is set to on and the type is set to default. What I did change is under the hero section. I switched toggle zoom to on, which makes it so that way you don't have to hold down the left trigger to zoom. And I also found that when you toggle the zoom, when she finishes reloading, it will go back to being zoomed in. And I believe that the next setting is new, but I'm unsure, so let me know in the comments below. I haven't seen it on really anyone else's options menu, maybe on Widowmaker's, but I haven't done a video for her yet. I know, I'm working on it. But I adjusted the relative aim sensitivity while zoomed option to 28. Basically, this setting slows down the aiming while you're zoomed in, kind of similar to when Hanzo's sensitivity drops when you start to pull back an arrow. Now, let's take a look at the custom setup in the Xbox Accessories app. Keep in mind that the goal of mapping your buttons is to achieve full use of the character and their abilities without needing to take your fingers off the sticks. Let's start with the triggers. I kept the right trigger the same, but I assigned the right bumper to the left trigger. I usually move the ability that I think will be used the most, or the ability that needs a quicker reaction time, to the left trigger. I find that my reaction time is much better there. And having the biotic grenade assigned to the left trigger makes the most sense, since I personally think it's her best ability. But since Ana has a zoom ability on her weapon, just like Widowmaker, I moved the left trigger to the left bumper. From watching gameplays and from realizing that most maps do not have that long of lines of sight, you'll end up firing the gun from the hip more often. As a side note, you don't have a climbing ability like Hanzo or a grappling gun like Widowmaker. This really prohibits you from accessing those higher vantage points with longer lines of sight. The only benefit that I've been able to see so far when it comes to zooming in is that it changes the darts you fire from a projectile into hit scan mode, which means that there is no travel time and it hits the target instantaneously. It's pretty much point and shoot. Now from the hip, the darts act like a projectile with travel time, which means you'll need to lead your target in order to get a hit marker. Either way, there's no difference between a body shot or a headshot. They both do the same amount of damage. It takes about 3 shots to kill an enemy with 100% health. What I did find is that the hitboxes were different when it came to shooting at an ally versus shooting at an enemy. As you can see, when I shoot at an ally, the hitbox around the body is way bigger than as if I'm shooting at an enemy. As you can see, I can shoot pretty far away from an ally to grant health, but for an enemy, I need to be pretty much spot on, except for above the head. It looks like Blizzard's tightened up the hitbox on the sides of the head, but still left the top pretty large. Hopefully this translates to Hanzo as well, and he can stop doming me in the head from around the corner. Now I'm back to the button mapping. The next button I mapped was the left bumper to the lower right paddle. This puts the sleeping dart in a prime position for you to shoot the dart quickly and accurately without really needing to adjust your hands, which is definitely paramount for this ability. I then moved the Y button, which is her ultimate, to the upper left paddle. This way I can trigger the ultimate while still maintaining my aim. I decided not to put it on the upper right paddle, so that way it would cut down on accidentally hitting it when using the sleeping dart, since I'd probably be using the sleeping dart a little bit more often than the ultimate, and I don't want to prematurely set it off. I then filled the rest of the paddles with the other basic functions, like X on the upper right paddle to reload, and the A button on the lower left paddle to jump. I also moved the right stick click, which is the melee, to the RB button, just that way I'll have easier access to my melee. Now before I get into my stick setups, I just want to make a note that the Elite controller does come with 3 different stick sizes. I originally was using the shortest sticks on both thumbsticks because it was what I was comfortable with. But recently I've been playing with the shortest stick on the left thumbstick and the tallest on the right. I found that increasing the sensitivity made it easier to aim using the taller stick. The taller stick does help sometimes in regards to making fine adjustments, especially when using a sniper rifle. So for the left thumbstick, which I use the short thumbstick, I set it to aggressive. And then I also soup up the aggressiveness to the 9th tick mark. I find this is very, very, very important to be able to strafe left and right and stay moving, because any still target is a dead target. For the right thumbstick, I have the tallest stick on there as of right now, and I set it to smooth. And then I also downgrade the smooth to the 4th tick mark, just trying to get the line to be a little bit more straight and be a little bit more sensitive to what I'm trying to do. Definitely when playing a role where you need to have some sort of accuracy, I find that smooth on the right stick is the best way to go. Now let's talk triggers. Before I even get into what the actual setup is, make sure that you push both of the buttons down on the back of the controller to lock both triggers. This way it will decrease the amount of time it will take pulling down the trigger. Now, inside the app, I set it to 0 and 1 for both the left and right triggers. This way it's giving me a hair trigger effect, so pretty much as soon as I'm touching them, those motherfuckers are firing. Last but not least, just like in any FPS game, turn vibration off. Pretty much the only time I have vibration on is just a little bit in the left and right main, just so I can get a tiny bit of feedback of when I'm getting shot. Because sometimes on the screen it's kind of hard to tell when you're being shot, and so this gives you a tiny bit of feedback but doesn't really throw off your aim. Alright guys, thanks for joining me for this video. I hope that it gave you some more information and a clear understanding of a good setup for Ana. At least it will give you a good place to start. Just make sure you hit the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to my channel. My new schedule that I've come up with is that on Tuesdays and Fridays I plan to release a new video around 1 o'clock. But for this video I'm releasing it early since Ana came pretty much as a surprise, and I definitely want you to have it sooner rather than later. And then I also plan for right now to stream through YouTube on Wednesdays. You know, various games, Rocket League, GTA, Overwatch, Halo, whatever. whatever I'm feeling like playing, we're going to play. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in and all the support. I just hit over 200 subscribers, and definitely look out for that 200 subscriber video. Anyways, I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm out.